Servus Männer, it's Red Bull Germany again. Today I want to report to you what the Great Round Table of Germany, that technically, or according to our constitution, shouldn't even exist, decided today on the future of Germany, or at least how life for Germans, or I should say everybody who resides on German territory, will look like in the coming weeks and months. So this great round table, the Ministerpräsidentenrunde or something like that, that is a negotiation, a conference between the governors of our federal states and the federal government. Angela Merkel was there and the governors, basically. And they were discussing what to do concerning the lockdowns and the measures and the restrictions that have been taken to combat our grand pandemic. First of all, they said last time, and it comes as no surprise, of course, that what they said when they had all these restrictions by the end of last year and when they took back the relaxations that they promised for Christmas. We all knew that when they say until the beginning of January only, just until the 10th of January, blah, blah, blah. We all knew, of course, it doesn't take a very red-pilled guy to tell you that, right? That this would not be the case, that these are lies, that they knew themselves perfectly well, that this will go on because they want it to go on, yeah? And it has nothing to do with numbers, let me tell you that. It has nothing to do with infections or numbers. It's just that they like to have that much power and they like to lock the people up at home. And, if they cannot take this as a pretense, they will find something else, right? Okay, but here is my summary now. What was decided? What are the restrictions? But before I go into the details, I want to thank all my supporters and my subscribers once again. And if you want to support my channel, you find some links down below. And what you also find in the description down below are the links to my presence on other social media platforms. You know that I'm on YouTube and for a long time already on BitChute, but recently I also discovered Odyssey. And I think it is very well made. And there are a lot of people who actually like alt tech, but they had their problems or their little concerns about BitChute. Maybe you can give Odyssey a try. I find it pretty awesome, actually. And just check out the platform. And when you do that, subscribe to me, follow me on Odyssey also. I like it so far. Let's see. It depends on how it grows, but I don't want to really go into the details here. Let's get to this conference between Angela Merkel and the governors now. So, first of all, it was delayed, and that is because Mr. Söder and Frau Merkel and some other people, they were still negotiating about a template, or how should I say, a test version or a basis for the results. So this is how it always goes in these big conferences or on these big gatherings of politicians where decisions need to be made. You don't start with tabula rasa from zero or something. No. The some more important people, let's say, they start with a result or with an outcome template or with a suggestion of the results, right? And the goal is then that they know already what the different players and actors, because bear in mind, in our federal states, we have politicians from different parties being the governor, and also they are having coalitions with different parties in some of these states. And in 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken right now, in this year, we have a state election before our federal election in autumn. So yeah, the politics definitely plays a role. If you think that only science and only the numbers and only they're all goal oriented here and they all want to work together for what's best for Germany, no, you're mistaken. Politics plays a major role, as we will see very soon. When I go more into the details. But that's the first part. So that means the people who are formulating this paper as a suggestion for what the final statement that all of them sign in the end will be, those people, they must anticipate already how far this person will go into that direction, how far that person will go into the other direction, and they have to kind of anticipate some kind of or yeah, they have to try to figure out what a good consensus might be before the actual meeting starts. Okay. And this took longer than expected. So they were delayed. Everybody was waiting for them. They couldn't start. It is a video conference. So let's imagine they're all stuck in a Teams or Skype call, and the most important people who invited you to the meeting, they're not there yet. That's a very good start, first and foremost. And then in the beginning, according to what I read, oh, nice, there is a bird. Oh, that is cool. Check out this bird. Awesome. We're lucky today, huh? All right, sorry, I get back to the subject matter. It's so cute. Okay, I can't focus now. Sorry. Anyway, so two birds. That's crazy. Oh, I was so lucky. Maybe you cannot share my enthusiasm for these animals, but yeah, be that as it may, I continue. Sorry, I try to control myself. Keep it together. Okay, and they're gone. Good. Great. So, what was I about to say? Sorry. Yeah, so there was a delay. That's one thing. And then in the beginning, I think they spent some time on some party political maneuvers, right? There was first and foremost criticism coming from some governors towards our health minister, Jens Spahn. Of course, the criticism came from the Social Democrats. The health minister, Jens Spahn, is from the CDU, Angela Merkel's party. And they were saying that instead of getting the very great and brand new pharmaceutical substance via the European Union, like everybody else, right? That the European Union would actually provide this stuff and the member states then would pay for as many doses as they want or something. And this process takes longer, they say, than if Germany had done what the UK or the USA are doing and just nationally negotiate themselves with these pharmaceutical companies, and then they would have gotten the substance faster. So that was criticism, and the counter movement or the how should I say, the defense maneuver for this accusation is, of course, oh, but this is immunization nationalism. Yeah, that's the key phrase here. Oh, you're a nationalist. This is nationalism. We can't do that. We have to act as one as Europeans, right? So a no to immunization nationalism. So yeah, great. That is, of course, a fruitless maneuver. There is no outcome, there is no result. They just wasted a lot of time and they just had to do that for their voter base, maybe. Maybe they tried to score some points in the, with their voter base. But yeah, this is absolutely wasting time. And that was the beginning. Yeah. And then let's say, then there was another guy from the CDU who, on the other hand, said, I want every governor here who is there today to pledge that they fully stand behind our European procurement strategy. Yeah? That is kind of wasting time from the other direction now, on the same topic, like how do we procure, how do we buy, save, and distribute very fast this substance. It doesn't help at all. And yeah, then they finally got to the actual point. So what should the restrictions be? Should the lockdowns be lifted? Yeah, of course not, as you might assume. The numbers are up. The numbers need to go down. Okay, so what did they decide in the end? So a couple of bullet points here, and this is where it gets now actually relevant for people in Germany. So they said that only one person now can meet you when he's not living in your household. Yeah? So if you live in an apartment alone, you're only allowed to invite one more person, yeah? From another household. That's the limit. Yeah? And then if the incidence, that means the newly infected people per 100,000 inhabitants in a 7-day average, I think, if that number is over 200, yeah, then you are only allowed to move away from your residence, from your house, from your apartment for until 15 kilometers. That's what they decided. So they're basically limiting people's freedom of mobility. And they say only if you have a really, really good reason. And by the way, tourism or going hiking or visiting a church somewhere or hiking on a mountain or whatever, this doesn't count, right? So good reason means you have to go there for work because then you generate tax revenue for them, right? And these things, right? And they don't really specify what a good reason is, but they said pleasure, education, distraction, whatever, like enjoying nature, that is not a reason. They said that very clearly, okay? That means if you want to go hiking and the mountain is 16 kilometers away from your house, no, you can't go. And if the police catches you, and by the way, our home address is written in our IDs in Germany. Yeah? So if you have a German ID, a Personalausweis, then your home address is written on that ID page. And then the police can check where you live. But they can do that anyway with their software, their database, whatever. So they will check you, they will run you through the database, and they will see, you live 16 kilometers away. Oh, that's 25,000 euros or whatever. I don't know. But there will be fines. Yeah. Okay, so that's a very big point, I think, and this has never, I cannot remember that this ever, a rule such as that ever existed in Germany. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, and then they also want to limit like people coming from the UK, but there are no concrete measures that I could find really. They just want to scan and see what's going on with this new mutated version of the pathogen and so on. And if you are traveling back to Germany, even as a German. So on top of quarantining yourself, you need to have a a negative test result, of course. So you need to do that either, and this is where they're more lenient than the Japanese, I would say. You can do that before you board the airplane or at the airport upon arrival. Yeah, but either before the flight or after the flight, immediately you need to make a quick test, and that should be negative, and then you can move freely in Germany, I guess, or at least until your house or your place of residence. And then you need to quarantine yourself if you come from a risk area, which now is actually quite a lot. But Japan is not yet. So Japan is not a risk area according to the German authorities. So technically, if I wanted to go back, I wouldn't have to do that. Okay, so from my memory, these are the big points. And of course, the lockdowns in the more severe version, as I just outlined, they will be prolonged until the end of January. And by the end of January, so in 2 weeks or something like that, they will meet again and they will reassess the situation, of course, according to the latest scientific data and discoveries, whatever. Yeah. So as we all knew, this thing would be prolonged, and if you ask me, probably for the entire year, because it might sound crazy right now, but a lot of things that sounded crazy initially turned out to be true, and it got even worse. So I should say that maybe they really want to prolong this until the federal elections in autumn, because this is their ultimate goal, I think, to lock people up at home, to make sure that they cannot communicate anymore, that the people cannot discuss issues anymore, that you cannot form your opinion the way you did it previously through discussions with friends and family and just getting together and chatting or something. This is no longer allowed. See, talking to other people is no longer allowed now. First, it wasn't encouraged. Yeah, it was frowned upon maybe if you talk to people, but now it's forbidden. Yeah, this is new now, right? You're not allowed to meet people anymore and talk to them. That's not allowed. Okay. And my feeling is, or it's not a prediction. It's just let's say I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to keep it up until at least until the elections in autumn, because then they could lock up people during an election campaign, and that's perfect, right? And maybe they even have to cancel the elections because it's just too dangerous. Yeah, we've seen these arguments being made in the United States, for example. This is how they pushed this whole mail-in voting thing, because you can party on the streets and drink champagne, pass the bottle around, no problem. You can go to work in a crowded metro train or in an overcrowded commuter bus. That's not a problem, But, going individually into separate voting booths, wearing a mask and, under social distancing rules, blah, blah, that's dangerous, right? But, being like sardines in a can on a commuter bus, that's fine. No problem. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. As long as you generate that sweet tax revenue for the people in public broadcasting, for example, or in, who are employed in the public sector, and of course for our dear politicians and our political parties. So that's my summary. So this means lockdowns in Germany will be restricted. Some very important rules, also the 15-kilometer rule, that is dependent on the incidence in your district. And there are these colored maps of Germany where you can see, is it in the dark red, then it's over 200, or is it just yellow, then it's under 100 or something like that, right? You can see how large is this incidence number in your district, and according to that, you have to behave now. And it will be prolonged, as I said. And once again, I should state, I wouldn't be surprised if they want to keep that sweet, sweet power, these draconian measures that they can, exert on the people under the innocent pretense, we don't want to do that, but we have to because we have to keep people safe. That's a nice pretense they have, a nice excuse for acting as tyrants. All right. I keep you updated on that, of course. Servus, Kameraden.